Support Smacking Off by commenting on, liking and sharing our videos. Stay right where you are, more Smacking Off is headed your way.
I just received a marketing plan from a freelancer on Fiverr. It's great. And the way I'll present it will really take it to the next level. Check it out. Skills.
We're developing an app with a freelancer and it's excellent. It's probably my feedback that made it so good.
And do you know who came up with the idea to use Fiverr? Liam. And who hired Liam? Me. Just to be clear.
Smacking off the pod.
What's up?
What's going on?
How's everybody doing?
We're rocking like James Brown.
Well, you're not rocking much lately.
No, James Brown ain't rocking at all.
I know, but just in the spirit of James Brown, you know.
Mr. Madden, we can't hear you. If you've talked already, we definitely don't hear you, or I don't.
I can see him.
I don't hear him.
He's trying to welcome us to Smacking Off the podcast.
He might have lost his voice watching that Alabama-Kentucky game.
Yeah.
That was pretty good for a minute.
Yeah, it was a good game through the first half. Then the second half, Kentucky couldn't miss. They actually played a little defense. We'll get to that in more detail. What about Mr. Devine? Can we hear him? What's going on, Sean?
Is Devine here?
I see his icon.
Yeah, no, that's not his icon. That's the lack of his icon. That's what I put up so that he'll have an icon.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, he's not in yet.
It must be the Creighton's loss to St. John's must have got on him a little bit, you know. Shit, we did get Shannon going here, though. I can see him working futilely to make it go. Years of expertise, planning. It's all come together. I can see it get ready to happen.
Hold on 1 second. We want to do this right? Oh, I probably got it on the wrong thing.
Oh.
It's a good night to be off.
And Shannon's his mic is muted according to
Yeah.
So.
And it won't let me unmute it. I click it and it just stays muted.
Goodness.
Can't unmute your guest.
No, can't unmute.
It says
Can't
unmute your their mic isn't connected. Hey Shannon, your mic isn't connected.
Are you still there, Ed?
Me?
Oh yeah.
I'm right here.
So how'd you feel about y'all's game with Purdue?
I'm sorry?
Did you see the Michigan-Purdue game?
So, yes, I did, and I had Michigan plus 13.5 in a 4-leg alternate spread round robin, so I'm good.
Hallelujah.
I mean, because they weren't going to win. They're, 8-20? They're terrible.
Oh, I know.
I have to be fair. We're terrible.
There you go. There's Devine.
Got to take ownership. They're my team. Love them, but we stink.
We love it. Absolutely love it. That was the only good thing there were two good things that happened out of today's results. Michigan continuing to be dreadful. That was great. And then Ohio State buzzer beater to ruin Tom Izzo's day. That was great.
And I had Ohio State plus 9.5 in that same round robin.
That was easy money.
Which I won all 4 legs, so that was nice.
Very nice. Congrats on the win.
$1 into 8.
Not a great day for me, but I mean, I sort of suspected it.
So I didn't really think that St. John's was going to beat Creighton, but when they I'd like to talk about in detail later, though, or more
Shannon,
detail.
we did hear something, but it's really muffled something.
Not now.
Shannon sounds good. I can hear him.
Yeah, you just kicked in.
Doug sounds like he's got like tinfoil around his microphone.
No.
Sounds good to me.
You're the only one that doesn't sound great, Doug.
I think Doug sounds fine.
Yeah, he sounds good to me.
I hear everybody. I heard everybody originally.
Now he sounds better. Okay.
Yeah, Shannon, you're sounding good, brother.
Been reading up on Nick Sheridan, our new offensive coordinator. You know, he had that first one ran off to the Seahawks. Can you blame him?
NFL, man, easy decision.
Oh yeah. There's no
coach at NC State.
Say that again.
Did Nick Sheridan used to coach at NC State?
I can't remember. I know he was at Indiana before he wound up at Washington. Now, of course, he was not the offensive coordinator at Washington. He was the offensive coordinator at Indiana. And if you'll remember, when Michael Penix Jr. was the quarterback there.
They had a good year, yeah. Beat
They
Penn
Well,
beat the
State.
crap out of us.
his first year there, it was probably one of the better years of Indiana football that we can remember in recent history. His second year, however,
Because Lee Corso was there.
was one of the worst seasons that Indiana had in their program in a long time, since 2011. And even then, it was like, it was pretty bad. It was like 2-10.
I got Indiana as one of my sleeper teams.
Well, maybe not in 2021, but
Next year in football,
they definitely slept in 2021.
Yeah, did you hear what the new coach said?
no.
What's that?
First of all, he's won everywhere he's ever been, Kirk Cignetti. And he was asked by someone in the media, what do you do? What do you say to recruits? And he said, I tell them, Google me, I win.
Yeah, but the problem
you gotta
is,
somebody going to a school with essentially a shitty football program, and he's talking shit already. I kind of like that.
Yeah, but I mean, again, with NIL, I just don't think Indiana has the pockets for football to compete in the Big Ten.
You know why Kentucky's
I'm
not the worst football program of all time? It's because Indiana is.
Well, like Kansas is still around, so is Vanderbilt.
There's Kansas. It's funny, all the basketball schools are the worst at for the most part.
Yes, it does seem that way. Even though North Carolina's picked up lately.
We need to do a segment of that. What is the worst Power 5 football program of all time?
My vote's for Indiana.
Of all time, though.
I think it's got to be Kansas, I think.
Kansas is pretty bad, though. But I can't remember in my lifetime Indiana going to a New Year's Six bowl.
That's true.
I think Vanderbilt would probably get the nod a lot of times because it's been so long since they've done it. It's been they're not Power 5.
No, they're not. And
but see, Vanderbilt has been so long since it's been so long since Vanderbilt's done anything. Kansas has that, early 2000s.
The Mark Mangino go. I think they went to an Orange Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you're right. I think Kansas is the worst. But in the modern era, with a lot of the newer fans, they're not.
They were the ones that finally got rid of Les Miles from college football for forever. So I can't see why that's not a. There should be a trophy for that.
I mean, if for a lot of their period, but they're not right now. Rice was in a power conference. I mean, if Rice ever gets back in a power conference, they would probably be considered the worst.
But hold on now, don't even say that. Don't even go there, Sean, because they're 3-0 versus Alabama, if I'm not mistaken.
Hear this.
But I mean, when was the last? They finally got back to a bowl game this year. One of those.
What's their record against Nick Saban? Roll Tide.
And then they're not in a power conference for football, but they are for basketball. UConn has got to be one of the worst football programs in the country.
Yeah, they're bad.
I mean,
but they did go to a Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, against what? Pitt?
Oklahoma.
Okay. Well, yeah.
We'll bring Timothy Bailey on, and he can talk about that one. I'm sure he'll love to expound on that. Win.
Lost to Boise State, so there's that.
Shannon, you look like Jim Jones with those sunglasses.
Those shades are awesome, by the way.
These are not shades. These are just regular glasses. I'm pretending that because I'm a man of a certain age, I will be wearing prescription glasses soon. So I might as well go ahead and get on the jump.
You need those flip ups, dude.
No.
Come on, let's flip ups.
I don't do the flip ups because I saw the movie The Jerk more than several times, and any kind of accessory like that, I'm really worried about my eyesight.
Yeah,
and I don't have money. I don't have money for a lawyer.
You need some eyeglasses with an OptiGrab, like the one that Nathan made.
Remember, that's what I'm talking. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't want any kind of accessory like that because I always my mind always goes back to that OptiGrab and those poor people and they're cross-eyed. That movie's amazing.
Those glasses have very much John Goodman in Big Lebowski vibe to them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Walter. What's his last name? I can never pronounce his last name.
Soltec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Goodman's a great actor.
I know this because I watched this movie less than a week ago. I watch this movie at least 3 times a year, every year.
John Goodman is a fucking god as an actor, but Walter is a national treasure.
And that was probably one of his better roles. I still think his finest acting role to date still always to me be Barton Fink. His role, particularly the closing scene in Barton Fink, his last scene in Barton Fink is.
I'm going with King Ralph.
That's a good. And you're leaving out the whole Flintstones franchise too, Doug.
Oh yeah, that was great.
He was great as Babe Ruth.
Can't skip over that one. That made a lot.
You know what, Sean? You just nailed that shit. That was a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah. Yeah, when he was
he was a lot bigger than. I think he's a lot taller than Babe Ruth. It was hard for me to.
Man, I can't believe I forgot that one too. That was really good.
It was.
Yeah.
Then
John
brother,
Goodman's amazing.
He was in "Oh Brother, Where for Art Thou?" and he stole their money and stuff.
Yeah.
He did, and they couldn't even figure out what was going on when he was beating the hell out of them with a baseball bat. They still were like, "We don't get it." What was his name? Honest John.
Yeah.
Honest John. They were like, "What? I don't understand, Honest John." As he was cracking them over the fucking head with a baseball bat.
I think it was Big Dan or something like that.
Big
something or another. He said something about Big Dan or something like that, or Big Dave, or I can't remember what it was. But yeah, as he was beating the fuck out of him with that tree branch. That's a good.
He had a little it's underrated, but he had a little role in Argo, which was really good.
Argo.
Argo, A-R-G-O. Argo. It was
like
the
the
one
stars, yeah.
So they snuck out the hostages from Iran.
Oh.
You know, Sean, a lot of people, it's interesting that you said Argo because a lot of people don't realize that he was actually supposed to. Remember the blonde-headed guy in Fargo?
Yeah.
The fucking asshole? He was supposed to play that fucking role.
No kidding.
Are you talking about William H. Macy?
Yeah. Why,
Another
no.
fine actor. Yeah.
No. Macy's the one that got shot in the face, right?
No. He's Macy was a car salesman. Yeah, he was a car salesman.
No, he not that role. The blonde-headed guy who was the partner of.
You talking about the one, the wood chipper scene? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
We could forget that.
And he was supposed to play that part. He actually read for it, and they say there's footage kind of wandering around with him.
I'm glad he
didn't
get that role. I'm glad he didn't get that role. I because everybody and everything in that movie is absolutely perfect. I couldn't imagine it done by anybody else in any role.
That's fair.
You would have fell for it though, because that's John.
Yeah,
because
I love John Goodman no matter what. He's simply amazing in everything that he's ever done. Anything that I've ever seen with him and John Goodman, even if it's gonna be a shitty movie, I'm at least gonna perk up and watch it for a few minutes because it's fucking John Goodman.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
AKA Fred Flintstone.
All right, so is it too early to go for a break? I think we're only a minute early, so hey, we'll be back a minute early too.
Okay.
You are now watching or listening to Smacking Off the Podcast. If you love it, tell your friends about it. If you hate it, share it with your enemies.
It was just a small gift from Mummy and Daddy. One, however, that would spark a bit of an obsession. It started out innocent enough, as these things always do, but quickly lit the fuse to something bigger. Mum and Dad encouraged other activities, but alas, had to sell things almost as fast as they bought them. Friends and family thought it was cute. It's just a bit of fun, they said. It's just a phase, they said. Well, it's all fun and games until your child is 34, still lives at home, and absolutely nothing has changed. These things should really come with a warning label. Buy, sell, eBay.
Careers of the eBay here on the show. I'm sure I bought quite a few things and sold a few things on eBay. I know Doug has.
Yeah, eBay's not. It ain't what it used to be. It still kicks a little bit though.
I'd still like to buy stuff on eBay all the time.
I mean, we all every couple of years we clean out all the fucking junk we've accumulated, and it seems like it's about a month or two later, and we've got it back up. We've got new junk to replace what we got rid of.
We all do.
Yeah.
All right, so how about this this Tennessee NCAA situation? Everybody, I want to get everybody's honest opinion on this. I know Bob is going to definitely be against Tennessee here because Bob loves Tennessee.
Fuck Tennessee, but
I hate Tennessee too. But I think that the NCAA sanctioning this at this point without some major overhaul is pretty much done. I don't see the NCAA going into court and battling this.
Isn't that what Tennessee's trying to do? Is force their hand over and force a new coalition? What do you think, Shannon?
Shannon?
We lost him again.
God damn it, Shannon.
Well, to me, they've kind of already won right now.
Who's that?
Tennessee.
Tennessee has got the court-ordered injunction against the NCAA, which basically right now.
That's going to be years.
The way I'm reading this, they're now allowed to utilize NIL as pay to play in recruiting. That's the way it reads to me.
Damn, that's not the original intention of NIL, but that's the effect of it. Any way you slice it.
That's them. It was a joint legal effort against the NCAA. It wasn't just Tennessee. It was Tennessee along with Virginia that filed this court, proceeding to get an injunction against the NCAA to prevent not only the sanctions against Tennessee, certainly, but to make it basically legal to use NIL as a pay-to-play recruiting tool. The way I read that litigation,
which it is,
who didn't think that it was from day one? Oh my God! Long before NIL actually became a physical thing, there was a long, drawn-out conversation about the fact that this is definitely going to be a pay-per-play type situation.
Just bringing the shoe boxes of cash in the dark into the light of day.
No more bagmen. The bagmen actually are meet you at a well-lit location. There's a few other people. The people are taking pictures. Now
Paperwork now.
None of this meeting in the alley. Come here, young man. Come sit in the back of this van for a second. Let's talk about your future over this bag full of cash. You want some fries?
I'm actually, regarding this litigation, I'm for Tennessee and Virginia, because we know that's what's going on. They're just saying it publicly. Like, they're saying the loud part loud, and I'm okay with that. And Tennessee and Virginia aren't the only ones that are doing it. We know that. Texas is probably doing it. Florida couldn't, afford the quarterback they were trying to do it with. That's why he went out the door. But it's who's got the biggest checkbook, and whatever player they want to try to get, you get.
Well, maybe not, and again, it's still going to open up. You're still going to have situations and conversations with some young men that are going to have that little, kind of eager square jaw and want to go out there and do good in the world. And know what? Sure. I don't need that $4 million from, let's say Michigan, for example. I'll go play for Rutgers and go be a superhero there and be the greatest thing that ever happened at that university. There's going to be some of that because I know that there's a fortune and a gold mine waiting for them to turn a smaller program around single-handedly.
Absolutely.
Maybe not necessarily single-handedly, but at least leave a cellar dweller team like we were just discussing a moment ago, the Vanderbilts of the world, to a couple 10-win seasons. That's a big deal.
Well, I
What's the
just think
divide
about
here?
imagine.
One guy won't be able to do that, but the other thing is that if a player
no, but
goes
you know
to a
just as
school
well as
that
I do,
can't
there
write
are
the
those
biggest
generational
check,
players that pop up from
I
time to
got a great
time.
example for you. I mean, imagine if there was NIL paid up like for Louisville when they had Lamar Jackson.
Hmm.
I mean, that was huge for Louisville. Since he's been gone, Louisville's they're okay, but they weren't like people talked about Louisville when Lamar Jackson was there.
I mean, think
So,
about a team like Auburn, for example. What if they had NIL and didn't have to donate money to churches?
so what's going to be the issue? What's going to be the sticking point here? Is this going to erase all the separation between all the programs, or is it still going to end up the big programs are going to be able to afford more great players than the smaller programs?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it is. The big programs are always going to dominate college football. That's how it's been. What, for 100 years now? I mean, so
Somebody put a graphic out the other day, and it was very interesting. They were showing in the last 10 years all the teams that would make the playoffs in the last 10 years with a 12-team playoff with the current system, the way it's set up. And there was a lot of teams on that fucking list. So that's going to be very interesting.
I do think the 12 team is more important than the NIL than anything, and really the other component to it is transfer portal. As long as, and I know the NCAA was trying to create reform, you can only transfer. I'm all for if a guy wants to transfer like 5 times, be my guest. I don't care, because a regular student could do that if they wanted to. But the transfer portal, getting the right guys into your system, along with now the 12-team playoff, I think will open the doors for more schools that probably wouldn't have made. But the big schools are still going to win. You know, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Michigans, you know, the Texases. They're going to be there. I mean, regardless, Ohio
but the
State.
kid that takes less money is going to want to make sure that his games are on TV, and I'm not talking about ESPN Plus.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you got
ESPN,
the
ABC,
ACC
NBC,
network, you got the
CBS,
SEC
Fox.
network, you got the Longhorn network, Pac-12.
Oh no, the Longhorn
Big Ten.
Network's going away.
What's that?
Longhorn Network will be gone in June.
Yeah,
SEC time, baby.
I think that violated the SEC's
so
rules there.
SEC's money machine that ESPN controls. Yes,
it will shutter its
what-
broadcasts.
What
I
the
think
Notre
June
Dame
20th.
did with NBC is fine. Come on.
Through 2029. Through 2029.
Can I also throw one other thing out too, though? You know, also we talk about NIL, transfer portal, how it you know, personally enriches players, but there's one thing that we need to consider just for a moment, because I just read this story looking up you know, Sheridan, our new offensive coordinator at the University of Alabama.
Capstone.
And Michael Penix Jr. If Michael Penix Jr. had stayed at Indiana, do you think that he would be sitting very comfortably atop the NFL draft, or the upcoming NFL draft?
Well, he's not at the top of the quarterback board.
No, he would
No,
be
he's
a
not. But
late
do you
first
think his
round,
position?
early
But do you
second
think his
round
position would have
pick.
been any higher or equal to if he had stayed in Indiana and rode that dumpster fire all the way to the ground?
I don't think he'd be as high as he is, but great quarterbacks have been found in diamonds in the rough in a lot of
This is
programs.
true.
So, I mean, you look at big programs like Ohio State, USC, and Florida. They haven't had a lot of success at the NFL level, and yet, you know, a place like NC State has, Oregon has. There are a couple other off the beaten path places that have had success, but to your
Washington
point,
State.
marketing wise, yeah, probably not.
All right.
I mean, Tom Brady played at Michigan, was great at Michigan. He was a 6th-round pick. So, I mean,
Well, wait a minute. Wait,
but they benched him in a submarine.
He was good at Michigan. He was not great because he was in a battle his senior year with Drew Henson for the starting job.
I remember it. Yeah, no, I remember. I mean, and you talk about a guy that was over marketed. We talk about Oregon and Joey Harrington. Remember Harrington for Heisman? Remember that? And he got drafted very high by the Lions, and he was dreadful. He was dreadful in the NFL. So I think the quarterback position, when you talk about the NFL, guys can come from a big program or a little pro. It's very hit or miss in the NFL.
Chad Pennington from Marshall
was damn good, but for the injury bug hit him and he just couldn't shake it. He did win NFL Comeback Player of the Year a record 3 times, I think.
Leftwich,
Byron Leftwich, another Dante Culpepper. Warren Moon played at Washington, had to go to the CFL for a few years before the NFL would give him a chance.
Won a bunch of Grey Cups.
Yep, and then he dominated, with the Oilers and then the Vikings. So, and I think Randall Cunningham played at UNLV, if memory serves. So, I get the marketing standpoint, Shannon. If you go to a bigger program, it gives you more visibility. But really, it's going to be your tape wherever you play. If you go to the combine, your combine results. Look at Mahomes. Mahomes was the 3rd quarterback drafted in his draft class. And the guy's won 3 Super Bowls already. So
because Texas Tech historically has a terrible defense, and the win-loss record wasn't that great.
Right, and they had a number of busts before him, and Cliff Kingsbury, and who was the other guy that set a number of records out there?
Graham
Harrell. Yeah, thank you for picking me up on that one. So Texas Tech had a bad rep. Yeah, they had guys that were throwing for thousands of yards in college football, and then they get to the NFL, and it's a completely different game in the NFL. And the same is arguably the greatest college football quarterback is Tim Tebow. He's got records up the wazoo, and he just he didn't take in the NFL.
But he was not. But that's not the same as the greatest passing quarterback, because he was certainly not.
But he had a number of passing records as well.
Yeah, he could ball in just
leader
about every way you could think of in college football.
Yeah,
but when he got to the NFL, he could just never really he couldn't find that rhythm.
I think the speed of the game, the ability to read defenses, the ability to make checks. You could argue, well, Peyton Manning never won anything at Tennessee, but it's
Tennessee. Come on, man.
Well, I know, but he did win the SEC championship his senior year, but then a month later they got bulldozed by Nebraska. Mm-hmm. But it didn't stop the NFL from drafting him number 1 overall, and the proof is in the pudding. He won 2 Super Bowls. Took the Colts to the playoffs damn near every year. I think it's just it's 2 different games between college football and the NFL for sure.
It is.
For example, I think J.J. McCarthy was great at Michigan. I do not expect him to have a lot of success in the NFL.
It's interesting because there are people out there saying that he'll be even better in the pros. I'm not sure. I think he'll be all right.
A weak arm doesn't portend well for the NFL, and his arm is not very strong.
All right, guys, let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll talk some college hoops.
Let's do it.
Fine. Humans are noisy. They thrive on chaos. They like to make things. It gives them meaning. They do it over and over and over again until they shut down. Humans are fueled by inspiration. Inspiration and something called tacos. Change makes them nervous, but embracing it? changes everything. Yeah, imagine that.
You are now streaming Smacking Off the podcast. You can keep up with our current activity on Facebook at Smacking Off or Smackologists. Find us on YouTube at Smacking Off the podcast. And stay right where you are. More Smacking Off the podcast is headed your way.
Hey, this is Kyle Golick of the Smacking Off the podcast. I'm at the Basketball Hall of Fame. You don't need to come to Springfield, Massachusetts. We got our own Hall of Fame analyst in Dr. Balls.
Dr. Balls is a presentation of Smacking Off the podcast.
Dr. Balls, the state of college hoops.
What's up?
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Did you all remember Welcome Back, Cotter?
I do. I remember the song. It was a top 10 hit. Who was that? Sebastian? John Sebastian?
And then Mace remixed it like 30 years later.
Oh, did somebody do it?
Yeah, Mace, the rapper.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. I probably heard it.
It's pretty good.
I mean, that's one of those, the chorus is, it sticks with you.
Oh, yeah.
He uses the intro to Welcome Back, Cotter at the beginning of the song.
It's been a long time since I've actually watched an episode of Welcome Back, Cotter, though.
Hey, Mr. Cotter, what you don't understand is...
Yeah.
I mean, that's before your time. You must have just dug in and
Nick at Night, man. Nick at Night. All those old shows. That was good.
I'm gonna have to.
Gabe Kaplan. I actually learned about because Gabe Kaplan was on that show because he mentioned Gabe Kaplan used to be an announcer for the World Series of Poker for many years.
Yeah. Also a player too. He can. He's a damn good player too.
Yes, he is.
He really reminds me of Billy Crystal with a mustache.
I can see that. For sure.
Bit. Yeah, there's definitely similarities between their acting styles.
Yes, absolutely.
Gabe's all right. He talks a little shit at the table, but I'm a Phil Hellmuth guy, and you know why. Phil's a bitch. He is. He's just a big old bitch is all he is, and he bitches his way through every match he's in. I love it.
God rest his soul, it was always a Stu the Kid Unger guy.
Yeah.
Before we jump hard,
I like old Doyle too. Big Doyle Brunson fan.
He just recently passed, by the way. I think he was 92, really? 93.
Oh man,
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny Chan's still hanging around. Phil Hellmuth's still hanging around. A couple of the other.
Daniel Negreanu, I think, is probably he is pound for pound probably one of the smartest poker players.
Yep.
But I love watching Jennifer Tilly. I don't care how old she is. She is so hot. She always wears
the one that
elegant dresses that's got her boobs poked out. Yeah.
Is she the one that's in? I'm trying to know. I think it's either Meg Tilly or Jennifer Tilly that's in Psycho 2.
She's in one of those, I think. Yeah.
Oh, now Jennifer Tilly was she was in Bride of Chucky. That's her iconic role.
Right.
But she was my favorite Jennifer Tilly role was that lesbian movie she did with what's her name, Gina Gershon, Bound. Oh man, you want to get a hot Friday night? Watch that movie.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's definitely Meg Tilly that was in Psycho 2.
Gina Gershon plays a lesbian plumber.
Goodness.
Was Jennifer Tilly? Yeah. Was she in Johnny Be Good?
Oh man, I want to say yes, but don't quote me on that.
She was the coach's wife, I believe.
Yeah, she's awesome. Oh, you got Google in front of you. You're asking me questions and you have Google in front of you. I hear you talking.
I mean, if you knew,
I need to be asking you questions about Tilly and her beautiful breasts.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you in the closet? Are you in a closet somewhere?
No, my screen just went out and some stupid benefits thing, my city popped up. But if you can see me and hear me, that's good.
A benefits
We
thing
can't
from
quite
your
see
city?
you, but we can hear you.
What kind of benefit? Now, I want to know what kind of benefits the city is sending them. I need to get in on some of that action.
Well, the benefits are great. So you cannot see me.
No, I can't see you, but I can
Yeah.
see the benefits now. Let me just adjust my screen a little
I'm
bit.
gonna just get out and get back in.
He don't want. He doesn't want to talk about the benefits.
Another
All
quick
right, so
fun. Another quick
breaking
fun.
news.
He just said they're great.
Breaking news: Jennifer Tilly was in Johnny Be Good.
And she was also in Liar Liar. Don't forget that.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! Was she the wife?
I believe she was the one that Jim Carrey's trying to convince that she can win the case and get all the goods, and she's kind of hitting on Jim Carrey in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got to go back and watch that one. It's
And
been a while.
Meg Tilly is a sibling of her, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's
Yeah, Meg Tilly's hot too. Or she was. I haven't seen her in a long time.
But Jennifer's in like all the Chucky movies: Bride of Chucky, Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Cult of Chucky.
But she was not in the OG Chucky.
No.
No.
Yeah, but at this point, she's a stockholder in the Chucky franchise.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure she's an executive producer in any of the next Chucky films that roll down the line.
And she is
Chucky the animated
65 years young, by the way. 65.
Yeah.
Good.
She's still hot.
Still,
Man, it's like all those fucking hot girls from when we were kids, Shannon, are all fucking 60 years old now.
Yeah, but most of them are still hot. Thanks to plastic surgery. I have no problem with that. None.
Except when it puffs the lips
fake
up,
titties feel so real in your mouth. It's amazing.
Really?
Yes.
I've never had a fake titty in my mouth. I'm gonna have to take your word for that one.
Next time you come across one, pop it in your mouth. Trust me, it's the same thing. Same damn thing. Sure is. Except a little bit springier. It's like you remember. Yeah, it's young, like you remember.
Damn it, Jim.
Yeah.
So was that from a woman with fake titties, or was that from one of your sex dolls?
Nothing.
Okay. Basketball.
What I do in my private life is my business, Doug.
Yeah, this is America. God damn it.
Yeah, I'm allowed. If I want to have, if I want to have sex doll titties in my mouth, I'm allowed. That's the future libertarians want.
That's right. All the titties you want.
All right, real quick before we jump into some fucking basketball, has anybody ever seen The River's Edge from the 80s?
Absolutely, with Dennis Hopper. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite Dennis Hopper roles ever.
Speaking of sex dolls, man,
and plastic titties, yeah.
Jeez, that was fucked up.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you've never seen that movie before, it is well worth a watch. Go get baked. Sean, I don't think you're allowed to do such a thing, but if you can get baked, definitely get baked and watch that movie.
And Kristen McGlover.
Yeah, Crispin Glover is.
No, Kristen Glover was awesome in the fucking movie.
Is that where they killed that girl? Is that the one where they killed that girl and they?
He didn't. His friend did though.
His friend didn't. He come down there and told him, and then they had her hidden and shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I seen that.
Hiding in plain sight, hiding like right there at the side of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be one of the most fucked up 80s movies I've seen.
It's a bit much. Keanu Reeves is in this one. And Keanu Reeves, it's funny because out of all the people in that movie, Keanu Reeves is definitely the biggest star that has emerged from that movie. But man, his role is almost incidental. You can almost put 50 different actors in his role and they would have done the same job. Crispin Glover and Dennis Hopper steal the show. My
daughter's 16, and we watched this about 5 months ago, and she still talks about it every day. She says something about that movie.
So, I feel like we lost.
It's Ed, a bit much,
and we lost Dr. Balls.
Ed, Dr. Balls,
I'm here.
Are you there? Okay.
Ed.
Ed had to look up his benefits. He's doing his benefits
2 weeks in a row
from the state.
All right, let me see. Okay, so Ed's here. He just has to be added back.
There you go. Add him back.
There he is.
There he is, our man.
Now we can have a conversation with Dr. Balls, Ed, Sean Devine, Doug, and myself about.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, I got out of StreamYard and went back in since I had lost video. No, that's just a friggin' email that HR had sent that I forwarded to my personal email address, and why the fuck it popped out of nowhere, I don't know.
Goodness.
All right, so Ed, you have the bigger picture frame now for your video, but you also have the StreamYard logo
You're
inside
promoting StreamYard. Does this count as one of our commercials?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure StreamYard gets their money.
And you will get a check. You will get a check in the mail, Ed.
Need to make sure that they know that we're promoting their product on our podcast.
It's okay. We don't have to
take that off our monthly bill.
StreamYard knows where everybody lives.
Whether we
all right, let's talk some basketball, man, before this episode's over.
Yeah, it's almost done.
Oh yeah, how about Kentucky and Alabama, guys?
Fuck that game.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and log off. It's great talking with y'all. I hope all of y'all have a great week. Doug, there's not really anything else we need to cover, is there? I think we've
not really, no.
done it all.
I would go against Kentucky. Bet against Kentucky with the spread their next game. I don't think they're not shooting that way again.
Oh, now that's good ready to say that. So if you're Alabama fan,
Calipari's coaching for his job. That's what's going on here.
If you're an Alabama fan, thank God you held on Wednesday night to beat Florida in overtime. Otherwise, you're talking a losing streak. But instead, it's just a trap game. You knew Kentucky was going to be up on their game at Rupp. They needed that game more than Alabama did.
Absolutely, they did. Calipari personally needed that game.
Yes, he did.
To quiet some loud voices there in Kentucky.
I mean, the only kind of thing you can be pissed off about, I guess, if you're an Alabama fan, you score over 90 points in a college basketball game and you don't win. Yeah, that's a bit of a kick in the nuts. That is a kick in the nuts.
It's just nobody is going to be on fire the way UK was. Like every possible thing that could go well for them in the second half went well. Edwards had the game of his life, and nobody could do no wrong. And they actually played even though the score doesn't reflect it, but they played a little bit of defense and were able to create turnovers and score. But no, just to Ed's point, even though I'm a Kentucky fan, even I realize that nobody's going to be on fire like that, game in and game out. Now, they only need one or two of them guys.
You said game, man.
Yeah. But they only need one or two of them guys to score consistently, like Reeves and Shepard. But to have other guys like Edwards on fire and Dillingham on fire.
When you get 20, I think he had over 20 points from Ivicic, the Croatian kid.
Oh, that's what I was talking about.
He was incredible. Man, he was incredible the other night. I'm like, why is Cal not using this kid more? He's a nice little player y'all got.
Oh, yeah. I think he's trying to limit him a little bit this year so he'll come back next year. I think that's
what's want him to go to the NBA, so we'll just limit his minutes.
To Calipari is finally listening to every single bit of advice now from the fans that he should have been listening to several seasons ago. I love it.
It can't hurt him.
Yeah. Don't play him the whole time. Don't let his head get big, but just keep him around for a little bit. Yeah. I love it.
How long do we got?
Calipari's winning games he's supposed to win, key clutch games that he's supposed to win, and utilizing talent the way that it's supposed to be used. I mean, it's just like a dream for Dr. Ball tonight.
And to Bob's point, Calipari continues to go in and rob Chicago. I forgot Reeves was from Chicago, and now he's down there killing it for Kentucky. So
wow.
Oh yeah, he had transferred into Kentucky from a smaller program, but he's acquitted himself well. This year he's locked in. Reeves is locked in.
He's a beast, man. He's a beast.
Yeah. And,
if Kentucky plays like that forget the SEC tournament. I mean, if they win it, they win it. If they don't, they don't. Who cares? That's not what is going to be John Calipari's, epitaph at Kentucky. It's the NCAA.
Now, it certainly wouldn't hurt if
it wouldn't hurt. No, don't get me wrong.
The SEC tournament.
Kentucky fans, they've got enough SEC championship regular season and SEC tournament championships. What's going to be John Calipari's epitaph at Kentucky is success in the NCAA tournament in March. And
he hasn't had it lately.
And he hasn't had it lately. Exactly. So, but this team is loaded. If If they play like they did Saturday in March in that tournament, they're going to be a hard out, a very hard out.
Yeah, but
Very.
if they decide to get rid of Calipari, who are they going to get? I mean,
Billy Donovan.
No, he ain't leaving Chicago. Yeah,
They said Petito wasn't leaving the Knicks either.
The Knicks almost fired the guy. The Bulls are not firing Billy Donovan.
I think they got enough money that they could bring Billy Donovan to Kentucky.
As much as Kentucky has money for basketball, they cannot outspend the NBA. I'm sorry, that's fake news. The only reason it would be is if Billy Donovan is just tired of.
I mean, they would really have to be. It would be unprecedented amount of money for him to make that move at this particular point.
I don't think that the Bulls or anybody else in the NBA is going to overpay for Donovan. He's an average NBA coach at best.
Oh, I would disagree with that. He's not an average NBA coach.
The problem is he can't make the.
He's with the Bulls. The Bulls have average to below average talent.
That's right.
He's coaching them up, and they're actually surprisingly going to make. They're going to make the playoff barely.
That's the whole problem. Why I think he'll come to Kentucky, because at the Bulls he's doing the cooking, but he's not buying the groceries. Right at Kentucky, he can buy the groceries.
I mean, I think Kentucky would have to come with a stupid, contract for him to come back.
It's possible.
I mean, at least matching what he's making. What is he making now at Chicago?
I think he's not making any more than Calipari's making at Kentucky.
I think he's making 9 or 10 a year with the Bulls.
So he's making about the same money as Calipari at Kentucky.
So, I mean.
And he's got still one more NCAA national championship than Cal. Is that correct, Bob?
That's right.
Are they tied?
No, he won 2 back-to-back.
You got 2 back-to-back at Kentucky. Cal's only got the 1, right?
That's right. So, and Donovan.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Florida won back-to-back natties with Donovan.
Guys, he's in a 4-year deal right now, worth a reported $24 million.
So
Kentucky's going to have to make a serious offer to get Billy Donovan.
So he's making half the money of Calipari right now. Right now, Billy Donovan makes half the money of John Calipari this moment.
But you're in a more prestigious job.
But is sliding Calipari out, Billy Donovan in? Is that potentially a sideways move, or is that a legitimate step up?
I think
is that going to yield the results that Kentucky fans are demanding right now?
That's right. It's a huge step up.
No, it's a step down because Billy Donovan's already won he's won 2 national championships. What he hasn't done is won a Larry O'Brien trophy in the National Basketball Association, the pinnacle of basketball.
No, I'm talking about as far as being the coach of Kentucky, it's a step up over Calipari because Donovan can actually coach. He doesn't have to get the number 1 class every year to win a natty.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. Yeah.
Right. So in terms of for us, now it may be the NBA may be considered prestigious to some more, but in my opinion, college basketball is a better game. And
I think it's 2 completely different games. I mean, I would tell you they were making an argument the other day on another podcast to make the gripes of everyone is the NBA All-Star game sucks, which it does. It does suck. And they were like, well, get either last year's college basketball champion or a collection of college basketball, all Americans to play the NBA. I go, they would get murdered. They would get absolutely murdered. And the telltale sign is this. All you have to do is watch a college basketball game right now and jump shots, clank, brick, iron. You watch an NBA game, those dudes are making those shots.
There's just so much more effort. The reason
players' bodies haven't developed to that level.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA All-Stars would destroy the best.
Oh, yeah, the All-Stars would.
Yeah, but, I mean, even one of the worst teams in the NBA right now, like the Pistons, would beat probably most of the top 10 in college basketball.
On the other hand, in 1960, Kentucky was the Olympic team and won the gold medal. And I think they did that in 1948 as well.
Bob, but that was. I mean, the reason we brought the Dream Team in was because
Yeah, I
we lost.
remember that 1948 team.
Well, I mean, I'm just using this historical
sitting on my
context.
pappy's,
Adolph Rupp was
sitting
a
on my
hell of a
pappy's
coach.
knee,
It was an
listening on
Adolph
the
Rupp
radio.
team. It was an Adolph Rupp team, actually. But no, I'm
I
just
know
saying,
it was Adolph Rupp.
So college guys. So this is something I know about. So college guys during the era of the first Dream Team, right? So they bring in Jamal Mashburn and Jimmy Jackson. And what's the guy used to play point guard for the Mavericks? And they bring him in to play the Dream Team, right? And they're talking smack. These old men, I'm gonna do this and that to them and stuff like that. And then they meet Michael Jordan, right? And he just humiliates and embarrasses them, right? And Jamal Mashburn, it made him stay in Kentucky one more year. He's like, well,
they were so the college kids were beating in. I think this was in Vegas. This was May or June of '92, before the Barcelona Olympics. We're beating the NBA All-Stars, and of course that did not sit well with Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who was
he didn't care for that.
the greatest basketball player of all time, and arguably one of the most competitive people of all time.
Oh, easily one of the most competitive people of all time. Just listen to his stories about golfing with Michael Jordan.
And he just decides to go to, like, he had that sixth gear, and just they destroyed
Stuck
these.
that tongue
And this is
out.
a great team of college players: Jamal Mashburn, Jim Jackson, a number of other guys.
Christian Leitner.
You know, I think Shaq might have been on
Shaq
there.
was
Right?
there.
Yeah.
Chris Jackson.
Shaq's big-bodied ass.
I mean, so I don't think that's the answer for solving the NBA All-Star game. I think it really needs to be Team International against Team USA. I think that would be better, because then you'd have, Nikola Jokic, and you'd have Luka, right? Yeah, Luka. A number of other guys. But something needs to be done to fix that. But no, I think Kentucky right now, and I know Bob wants coaching change, but you're not going to get it until we see what happens in March. And if Cal gets this team, they finally did play a little defense against Alabama. They definitely played some defense when they were at Auburn. That went about a week ago.
70-59.
If Kentucky can play basketball during can play defense in the basketball games in March at neutral sites. And they're right now, I think they're a 7 or an 8 seed, which, by the way, if you're Kentucky, you want that. You want to be a 7 or an 8 seed.
Because you can knock the number 1 or 2 seed out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's sneaky. Like, imagine being a 1 seed, you win your first game, and then, boom, Kentucky's there the next game. That's
if
deadly.
they get Purdue, they will take them out.
Oh, yeah. If I'm Purdue, I do not want to see Kentucky in game number 2 in the first weekend of the tournament. And that could very well be, that could happen. And so I think Kentucky is starting to peak at the right time. If they continue to play team basketball, move the ball like they were doing the other night against Alabama, move the ball on offense, find the open man, be a sharing offensive basketball team, and then get your ass back on defense, get to your spot, and make them play a half-court game, because Kentucky is athletically better than everybody they're playing right now. They've got the 5-star. The other night on the broadcast, it's like, well, he's a McDonald's 5-star, and he's a McDonald's 5-star, and he's a McDonald's 5. So the talent is there. The talent is there. It's just
So how deep do they need to go for Calipari to be completely safe? Elite 8?
I say Final Four. You got to go Final Four.
I'd say Final Four. Yes,
I'd say Final Four to be safe.
You mean to tell me that if he takes this Kentucky team to the Sweet 16, loses the Sweet 16 game?
That's not Kentucky basketball.
We'll be very unhappy. That's not good enough, man. He will have failed. We paid him too much money. He's got too much talent.
When you say Sweet 16 for Kentucky, that's Bama going 10-2 in football.
Yeah,
unacceptable.
It happens sometimes. Right. Everybody chill out.
It happens, but it's been happening
too much for Cal.
It's been happening too much for Cal lately. So Cal has to be truly safe. He has to have a Final Four run here.
But let me say this though. Okay, let's say Billy Donovan's off the table. Who else are you going to get?
I mean, there's all kinds of people.
I have a great option, because I know Kentucky can outspend them. I would grab Kelvin Sampson from Houston.
2 criminals in a row. I don't know if we can do that. I mean, now that they got NIL, Kevin Sampson is hard
just
to
because
get
you've
down.
been indicted doesn't mean you've been convicted there, Bob.
He's a damn good coach.
And he's a damn good coach.
Ed can
He's a
speak
great
on this.
defensive coach. He's great defensive coach, by the way. And that's what a lot of the great basketball in Kentucky's been based on is on defense.
I think Kelvin Sampson, if you pulled him from Houston to Kentucky, would kill it. Would absolutely kill it.
Yeah, but he's not young anymore, and I don't know how long they'd have him.
He's not that old, though. I mean, what are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's like 65, 66, I'd say. It's somewhere in that range. But
what about Rabbi Bruce Pearl from
I think they'd have Bruce Pearl be a great coach at Kentucky. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if everybody loves him the same way I do, because I find him comic. I find him outrageous that he's willing to do.
He was great at Tennessee.
I got an even better. I was just thinking about it. Because he's a great coach, but he doesn't quite have. You're at a program that it doesn't have the panache. But you think about pulling Bobby Hurley out of Arizona State to Kentucky.
That'd be interesting. Now,
considering what his brother Danny has done at UConn, which is
but he's not his brother.
He's pretty damn close to his brother.
I don't know. Arizona State's not any good.
It's Arizona State. Have they ever been good in basketball?
Yeah, they hit.
When Harden was there,
they're the Michigan of Arizona.
Again, though, are any of these
you're the little brother in your own state to Michigan State?
Are any of these names going to give you what Calipari's going to give you or better?
I mean, they can get a guy like that. They'll just have to look at it when the situation comes up. It's all about timing, right?
But the situation come up. We're talking about Kentucky creating the situation. All right, Cal, it's time to go. It's time to move on. We're going to bring this guy in. This guy is going to do an equal or better job than you for as much money or less. Who is that person?
They can get guys like Doug.
Because I've heard some names, and I'm still trying to figure. I'm scratching my head and trying to figure out who's going to give them. At least the same Billy Donovan aside. Because again, he is in the NBA for the moment. And
I know who Dr. Balls really wants.
Name. I don't know if Kentucky would do it.
Who that is?
Beard.
No, that's not happening.
That'd be a good candidate, but I know it won't be Mac. They hate.
Why
Mac.
wouldn't it happen?
I think
no
Chris
matter
Beard's,
what these guys do,
I think Chris Beard's previous transgressions.
Right, but once it happens with all of them. Once you put some time between the incident, they get back.
I just brought up Bruce Pearl at Auburn, who's found some success down there.
I don't think Bruce Pearl's leaving Auburn.
No, but do you think if Kentucky offered him the job, he wouldn't at least consider it? Come on now.
Now there's
Kentucky.
That's
fucking Kentucky, dude.
Now there's guys at Northern Kentucky University and at Bellarmine that's had outside success. Now the reason we're not talking about Bellarmine all the time is the NCAA fucked them out of going to the tournament after they won the conference. I think they've done it twice in a row. And so obviously the coach at Bellarmine can start a program from nothing and qualify them for the NCAA tournament. And I think we'd look at guys like that too. I'm gonna have to look up who the coach of Bellarmine is because I had a certain page up here. I was trying to.
Sean, I said that because again, for Kentucky, as far as in the realm of college basketball, that's why I have to say Billy Donovan aside because that's that's for some guys is a step back down. Especially they finally got that head coaching position at a quality NBA team.
I think a crazy target would be because it's obviously the toughest conference in the country. It's the Big 12. Would Kentucky be able to pry Bill Self out of Kansas?
And see, that's what I'm saying. Kansas to Kentucky would be a sideways move. They're both blue blood programs.
They're both blue bloods, but if
I don't see that.
I think if you can pay more, that could happen.
He's got some stuff going on at Kansas. Why would he want to walk away from that? He could use it to leverage. He could use the conversation to leverage more money, but I don't. That's a sideways move.
People are messaging me saying that Scott Davenport at Bellarmine is who we should get.
I don't like that.
Dr. Boss,
Yeah.
quit fucking around. Quit fucking around and take the Kentucky job.
That's right.
I
That should
know
give us
I
the
have a
idea too.
name,
We're
but
impressed.
Just
I
throw
have
your
a
hat in the
name, but
ring.
I don't think I certainly don't want it to happen. I don't know. I'd love to get Bob's thoughts on it. I'll just say it, man. Greg McDermott from Creighton. What do you think at Kentucky?
Yeah, he could do it. If it with the talent he's got and the league he's in with what they've done so far, even though they've had some mild setbacks lately, they're not really setbacks. They're all resume builders, right? I mean, you beat the number one team 1 week and then you lose to another league contender the next week. I mean, it's tough on him, but yeah, I think he could do the job. And they might
If
be
you were to
thinking
give
they
Greg
would.
McDermott the ability to get the recruiting that Kentucky has, and he already knows the X's and O's because he has to X and O his way to get wins in the league that he's
Oh
in.
yeah,
I mean,
and he can make top-notch players too. I mean, Sherman's in the National Player of the Year conversation.
right.
You know,
So imagine
so
what he could do with the players that he could get at Kentucky. It wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't feel bad if it ends up happening. He's already been rumored to, a few of the other openings, Ohio State and Louisville and everything else. But yeah, if it happens, I'd tip my cap. I wouldn't be bitter. We had a great time, 11 years with him. But I think he would do a whirl of a job there. The other one I can think of
what about
ended
Shaka
up
Smart?
Shaka Smart's one for sure. And the other one just beat you in your building a few weeks ago. That's Mark Few from Gonzaga, and he's still fairly young.
So, real
Coach
quick before what?
Coach Cal, take note. All of these men are coming for your job.
Well, unless if he gets to the Final Four, I think he's earned the right to keep his
Final
job.
Four bus, Cal. If you don't make the Final Four, at least make the Final Four. If not, win the whole goddamn tournament. These men are coming for your job.
Dr. Ball
No,
would
if
be
he
able
don't,
to. Bob, when was the last time y'all were in the Final Four?
geez, what's it been like 6 years?
Been a
I
minute.
think 2018, right? I think 2017.
Yeah, 2018 or 19, the year that we were expected to lose that we were expected not even to make the tournament, and we won the SEC tournament and then went to the final game. I think it was
Sure did.
2019.
Look here.
Was that the year with the Harrison twins?
No, this is after that. This is
Kentucky.
recently. Let's see.
So y'all's last Final Four. Oh shit. 2015 last time you tapped.
2015.
Jesus, it's been longer than you thought.
That's a
9 year
long drought when you're a
That's too
Kentucky
far.
Bobcat.
That's too.
That's almost 10 years. That's unacceptable in lecture.
Bob, you would have fired him 2 years ago if you'd realized that, wouldn't you?
No, I was talking about firing him 2 years ago, if you remember.
Most certainly
I
were
do.
on this show.
I've heard you talk about firing him a lot.
Yeah, because of the fact that he's not delivering, man. And here's the real thing: is that we don't care whether or not you send players to the NBA at Kentucky, even though we care about banners. And he's the opposite. He says success is sending players to the NBA, but to me, that's not success in Kentucky. We want more banners. We want to win the championships. And even though we've sent a lot of players to the NBA in the past, if you really look at it, as far as like Michael Jordan level players in the NBA, Kentucky's never really produced those guys. And Anthony Davis. I mean, now we've had some great NBA players. I mean,
The Portland Trailblazers select Sam Bowie. Oh,
right. So the kind of players that play at Kentucky historically has been the kind of guys that want to win championships and that want to represent Kentucky, and they're not necessarily NBA stars, right? Now we made plenty of Chuck Hayes type guys that you would never expect to be in the NBA that have a big heart, and Rick Roby is like that, and I could go on and on about those style of guys. But as far as NBA superstars, Kentucky historically never really created very many of them. Right?
I just wish Detlef Schrempf had gone to Kentucky. That would have been great.
Oh yeah,
Detlef Schrempf. Now the messed up part is the season ends. Ed gets what he wants, or maybe he doesn't, but there will be a change in the head coaching position at mighty Michigan because we know Juwan Howard can't get the job done. It's not going to happen. Time to find somebody new to coach basketball.
The
there
guy
at the
from San Diego State.
Brian Dutcher. I said that as well.
Yes.
That was my suggestion.
I'm in agreement.
But if Michigan fires their head man and gets who you want, but Cal goes to maybe the Sweet 16 and he doesn't get canned, Bob's going to lose his mind.
Golly. I know it's going to drive me crazy because it's not good, man. I mean, just think we're the shit. I mean,
And the reason why this is important, is because we have what we call, like, Bob knows this term from when we were both, many years ago in our previous professions, but we talk about mission creep, right? Mission creep. And we're talking mission creep right now. Kentucky is letting the other programs in that conference start to creep up to their level. And they got to do something to reestablish dominance, reestablish order in that conference. And Kansas has got the same problem right now as well, because Houston has taken a chunk out of them. And Houston is starting to flex their muscles in the Big 12. The Pac-12 we don't really have to worry about because it's going away after this year. And the Big Ten is going to be either Purdue or Michigan State for the most part until Michigan can find a coach. Illinois is going to hang around, but it's whatever. ACC, the only thing that's constant this year is that there are projected 4 teams from the ACC, and they're the usual suspects: Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, and Wake Forest. Like, other than maybe NC State,
Clemson has a chance getting the
Clemson had a chance, but they shit the bed too many times.
Syracuse has a chance, right now.
Syracuse has to run the table the rest of the regular season, and then they got to win at least 2 games in the conference tournament.
But I do agree with you. And Duke has big problems because after they lost to Wake Forest, one of their main guys, Phillips, got hurt when the crowd rushed.
But they're not happy about the effects to their basketball program. But football money drives everything, so they had to go to the ACC.
Hallelujah.
How many games are we away from the conference championships kicking in?
We're 2 weeks from conference tournament starting.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So March 9th is the last regular season game, and then immediately after we start that week conference tournament.
I think some of the smaller conferences actually get underway sooner than that.
They'll start a week before. Yeah, I mean, you talk like the Colonial, the
ATM.
Doug, we need to bring on Justin Pike to do some betting lines during March Madness.
I mean, the Patriot League is already.
He's got a girlfriend.
They still got games left, but the Patriot League is already done.
He don't have a phone right now, Shannon.
Shut the fuck up.
Colgate has already clinched the regular season title.
Is on prime time at 8 p.m. Is that true?
Who's this?
I read something that Selection Sunday this year is at 8 p.m.
So it'll be
I think it's 7 p.m. Eastern. Because they gotta let the Big Ten championship game finish before they make the announcement.
Well, but that's always the case. But I'll have to watch 60 Minutes or some shit but I ain't missing it.
So Creighton has another chance on Wednesday to make sure they're in the top 5. The way the Big East works, the top 5 teams in the Big East get
the double bye. Yeah,
right.
Get the double bye.
And Seton Hall is also above that line temporarily. So if Creighton wins on Wednesday, I think that guarantees them a double bye in the tournament.
And I should be just, normally I'm like focused on next game, and I think I mentioned to you, Bob, in just the group conversation, I said, yeah, beating UConn the other night and beating number 1 was awesome. First time we ever beat number 1. It was incredible. But I said, let's not focus on a tough game in New York on Saturday, they moved it to Sunday. Against St. John's, and what'd we do? We laid an egg today. Weren't prepared, weren't ready to go.
I don't think that's what it was. I think that Pitino, when he went public with his disdain for his players' effort, and they ragged him out, and then next thing you know, they're interviewing him on Fox Sports about why he talked bad about his players, and he's got them sitting around him, and he said why he did it. Right? I think
they were more motivated. They needed the game more. They're on the bubble. They're sitting on the bubble, and we've never won against them at Madison Square Garden. So when I saw that game wasn't going to be at Carnesecca Gym in Queens, it was going to be at Madison Square
You
Garden.
change your bet.
Yeah, I could have told anybody take St. John's, and it was a whiteout. They're stealing Penn State's thing, so they did a
was it a
whiteout
dirty
today.
move to move the game?
No. I mean, instead of it being in Queens, it's over in Manhattan. That's whatever.
All right, so everybody, hold your thoughts. We got to save something for next week.
Yeah, let's go to bed.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Night.
Goodbye,
y'all.
everybody.
Night, everyone.
All
right. Good show, guys.
Thank you for supporting Smacking Off the Podcast on the X's and O's network. Be sure to keep up with our scheduled live casts and other presentations on Facebook at Smackologists or at Smacking Off, and on our YouTube channel at Smacking Off the Podcast.